Let's talk about it. Late summer. I mean, it's hot. It's been hot all summer long, you know, and the fish have just, they finally started, you know, they're not deep anymore, but they're not up real shallow yet like they're going to be, say, in a month or so. You know, depending on where you are in the country, they're not going to be really deep, but they're definitely moving from the deeper parts of the lake. They're moving back to the shallower parts of the lake yet. What do we do to catch them? If you're in a grass lake, the grass is probably really, really thick right now. I'm picking up a punching rig with a B-bug on it, net bait B-bug. I've got a trocar hook, TK 133. I've got an 1 3/4 ounce, 65-pound braid, the Ardent Vertex Contender on the big Halo punching rod. I'm going in after them. You know, the later in the summer and starting to be in the fall, we're late summer right now. Grass lake, it's either going to be that or it's going to be Old Scummy for me. That's pretty much all I'm going to fish in late summer and early fall. Said Scum Frog launch frog, the Bass and Bobby Froggin 2.0 rod. Once again, Ardent Vertex Contender, you know, 65-pound braid. I'm going to go try to find whatever grass still either looks really green, you know, like that healthy green look, or grass that has cheese on top of it. I almost want to go to either one extreme or the other. You know what I mean? Either the most healthiest grass I can find or the cheesiest grass I can find. And I'm going to use both of those and just bounce back and forth. And a lot of times both of them will work. Some days the frog works a lot better than punching and vice versa. So if you're in a grass lake, that's definitely what I'm doing. Another thing that's going to start coming back into it is a springtime bait. There was a bass just jumped right there, and it makes me really want to pick this up and throw it right there, but I'm talking to you guys right now. If he does it again, I'm throwing at him. This, the Nichols Catalyst spinnerbait. You know, we caught a ton of fish on this spring. Well, guess what? Old Bling is getting ready to come back into action, boys. I got it on 16-pound fluorocarbon line. Got it on the Halo KS2 Elite, an Ardent Apex Elite. This thing, when those bait fish, it's not like they're running back in the creeks yet, and in some of these grassy lakes, they're not running the grass lines yet, but that's coming. But especially early and late, man, that spinnerbait, like I said, Nichols Catalyst is my pick, but get that spinnerbait out, you know, late summer, that's when this thing's gonna start to shine again. Same kind of areas, a Lipless Crank. This is one from Rad. But whatever kind of lipless crankbaits you like I said, I really like these Rad ones. This is in the golden shiner color, shad color, depending on where you are. We're in a Florida lake today, so I had the golden shiner on, caught quite a few on this earlier this morning. But getting this time of the day, you'll be able to catch them throughout the day. I'm going on the more sparser areas in the grass with this, or I'm starting to fish down, if I'm in a northern lake, I'm starting to fish down those banks that are kind of transitioning from the deeper banks to the shallower flat places where they're going to be in a month or so. I'm targeting those transitions right now. Halo, the Series 2 cranking rod, Ardent Apex Elite on this, usually running 16-pound line on this too. This one, I am pretty sure 12 months out of the year in lakes that don't freeze, you can catch bass on this. I used to think it was only a pre-spawn bait. Then I started catching them a little bit on post-spawn, and then in the summer. Now in the fall, this thing, a vibe jig, pick your poison on the vibe jig. I got the bait fuel, the swimming minnow on the back. And man, I absolutely love that thing. It's the best trailer that I know of for putting on the back of a vibe jig. It's got those brakes in it, and the swimming action is just absolutely fantastic, and it's already got the X55 bait fuel in it, so you don't have to worry about putting any bait fuel on it. I throw it, I got a 20-pound leader going to 30-pound braid on a cranking rod. I think that's absolutely the best setup for a vibe jig, because the braid allows you to do those quick little snaps and be able to free that lure, be able to free the grass off of it, or maybe you get some little leaves on it or something, just anything, quick little snaps. That braid with no stretch allows you to clear that bait and get it vibrating again properly. But the cranking rod, What the cranking rod does is it takes some of that stretch out of that braid. It allows that whole rod to bend so that fish gets a lot better bite on that vibe jig. And then once the rod's already loaded up, then the braid comes back into action. I mean, it allows you just to slam that hook home. So you get the best of both worlds. You get the big bend of a cranking rod, but once that bend comes out of it, then you got that braid to just slam that thing home. So that is the 5 choices that I have for this late summer. You know, a lot of guys, they kind of stop fishing this time of year, you know, start thinking about hunting, which obviously I do too, but there's a lot of fish still to be caught. Take some of those techniques to your home lake, and late summer won't be the dog days of summer anymore.